Okay, in this session we're going to be looking at finding one quantity as a fraction of another. So by the end of the lesson we must be able to express one quantity as a fraction of another. We should be able to compare different proportions using fractions, and some of us could be able to solve word problems involving fractions. So if I imagine that I've got a metre ruler and I have measured up until this point, what is the fraction of the metre that I have measured? It's going to be 20 out of 100. Okay, and then we've also looked in the previous lesson at simplifying that fraction. So 20 over 100 is the same as 2 over 10, okay, because I have just divided it by 10. And then we can simplify that one step further, divide it by 2, they're both in the 2 times tables, and I get 1 over 5. Okay, so my final answer would be 1 over 5. So we're going to do the same thing with the next one. So just write down what the fraction will be and then simplify your answer. So we get 50 over 100, which cancels down to a half. The next one, so that's 70 over 100, which cancels down to 7 over 10. And the next one, 65 over 100, which cancels down to 13 over 50. So they're both in the 5 times tables. Next one is 100 over 100, which is just 1. 100 divided by 100 is 1. Okay, the next question. What fraction is 20 centimetres of 2 metres? So in this case we need to make sure that our units are the same. Okay, so 20 centimetres out of 2 metres. That's going to give me 20 centimetres out of 200 centimetres. Okay, there's 100 centimetres in 1 metre, so 200 centimetres in 2 metres. Okay, so we get 20 over 200, they both divide by 2, so I get 10 over 100, and now they both divide by 10. Okay, you could have divided by 20 straight away, but so long as you get 1/10, then you have got the answer correct. Okay, next question. What fraction is 15 minutes of an hour? Okay, so have a think about it and then write your answer down. So in 1 hour, there are 60 minutes. So we've got 15 minutes out of 60, and now they both divide by 5, they both also divide by 15. So your final answer is going to be a quarter, and that's why we say that it's 15 minutes is the same as a quarter of an hour. Okay, for this next question, you're going to match up one value from each of the groups. So from the first column, from the blue group, we've got what fraction is, I'm going to choose 3 hours. So what fraction is 3 hours of 1 day? Okay, so what fraction is 3 hours of 1 day? We're going to have 3 hours out of, in 1 day there are 24 hours. Okay, so we get 3 over 24, which is the same as 1 over 8. So what fraction is 3 hours of 1 day? It's going to be 1/8. If we have a look at another one, what fraction is 25 pence of £1? We need to make sure that our units are the same, so 25 pence of 100 pence. 25 out of 100 is going to be 1/4. So you're going to go through and answer the rest of these questions, and then I'll show you the answers on the next page. Okay, so here are the answers. You need to make sure that you have converted all of your values to have the same unit. So you convert all of them into grams, all of them into centilitres, hours, and so on. Okay, so here are a few questions. So for the first one, you're writing the first quantity as a fraction of the second, and then you're going to simplify. Questions 2, 3 and 4 are worded questions. So question 2, in a form of 30 pupils, 18 are boys. What fraction of the form consisted of boys? Okay, so go through these questions and then I'll go through the answers at the end. Okay, here are a few more questions and here are the answers. For this last question, Linda wins £120 in a competition. She keeps some to spend and puts £50 into her bank account. What fractions of her winnings does she keep to spend? So she's got £120. She puts £50 of that into a bank account. So the amount that she's got left is going to be £70. So she's got to spend, she's got 70 out of 120. Which is 7/12. So question 5, Frank gets a pay rise from £120 a week to £135 a week. What fraction of his original pay was his pay rise? So it's increased by £15. It's £15 out of his original pay was 120. So if we simplify that, they both go into 5 3 times, and then this one goes into 5 24 times. So his pay rise has increased by 1/8. Okay, the next one. Alice was born and had a mass of 3 kilos. After a month, she had a mass of 4 kilos and 250 grams. What fraction of original mass had she increased by? So going from 3 to 4 kilos and 250 grams, which is 4.25, okay, so 4 1/4, is increased by 1.25 kilos. So what fraction is that of the original amount? That's going to be 1.25 out of the 3 kilos. I'm going to convert this into grams because we've got a decimal here and it just makes it easier with the calculations. So that will change into 1,250 out of 3,000. There's 1,000 grams in a kilo. Now simplify that. And we get 5/12. Okay, after the breeding season, a bat colony increased in size from 90 bats to 108 bats. What fraction had the size of the colony increased by? So going from 90 to 108 is going to be 18, and it's 18 out of the original, which is 90. So simplifying that, we can divide it by 9. Simplifying again, we can divide by 2, and we get 1/5. So the colony had increased by 1/5. Okay, after dieting, Bart went from 80 kilos to 68 kilos. What fraction did his weight decrease by? So we went from 80 to 68. So if we minus that, we have got 12. So it decreased by 12 kilos. And that's 12 kilos out of the original 80. Simplifying, we get which is 3/20. So his weight has decreased by 3/20. Okay, so here is the homework. The first one is just writing the first quantity as a fraction of the second. Remember to convert the units if you need to. And then the last two are just worded questions similar to what we've been doing already.